What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and the purpose of this video is to address the upcoming price predictions for Stellar Lumens and HBAR Hedera. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it. Okay, we're going to do a twofer in this video. We're going to do Stellar Lumens first, and then HBAR after that. Okay, does that sound good to you? If it does, hit the like button. Let's go. Here we are. Here we are, my friends. Stellar Lumens XLM. 2 days, 9 hours left in this week here. It is the third day of October. And what a nice week this is, right? Not the biggest week you've ever seen, but it's nice. We're up 9%, 9.7%. We got half a week left, or I guess not half a week at this point. A couple days left. We got the weekend ahead of us. Looking like we are breaking out of this low phase here. Looking like we're ready to break out of this zone overall, which would likely lead, like think about it, right? Breaking out of this zone means we're breaking out of this zone, means we're breaking out of this zone, means we're breaking out of this zone, right? It's a chain reaction to the highest degree, to the most phenomenal degree. I'm going to say something for Stellar Lumens that I'll probably say for HBAR too, and I have said for XRP, which is that there's going to be a perspective shift here over the coming days, and it's probably already happening right now, right? Anybody who's been looking to buy Stellar Lumens, maybe here they're like, it might go lower. And they thought, oh, look, it went lower. Good. We're just going to wait for that lower low. And it didn't happen, right? Just wait for it to go lower. Just wait for it to go lower. It's a lower high. Oh, I don't know. It's getting close, but it could be a double top still, right? There's this delirious belief that you haven't broken out of this downtrend already with Stellar Lumens. And I mean, clearly you have. Clearly, absolutely, abundantly clearly you have. Volume's increasing. You have above average volume for the last 2 days in a row. Clearly, you've broken out of this, right? But maybe it's a double bottom. No, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe what it is it's a W pattern. You're about to rip through the roof, okay? Mind you, this video couldn't come out at a more perfect time. This is the fleeting moments that we're observing right now today and maybe over the weekend where you will be below 42 cents. Okay, you're probably not going to go below 42 cents ever again, if not at least until the next bear market, right? Like you're gonna be ripping and running. I really do mean it, ever again. Crazy, crazy things, man. If we're looking at this here, the perspective shift, I think, is already starting to happen, right? Where people, instead of waiting for the lower low, the FOMO starting to kick in. But when we start to move higher, when we barely move higher at all from here, when we get above like 42 cents, the perspective will truly shift, because at that point, we're going to have a double bottom. We're going to have higher highs, okay? And it's going to be abundantly clear that you are, in fact, breaking out of this overall range right here, all right? I think you already have broken out of it, but there's still reasons to doubt, right? You won't have any reasons to doubt other than straight delirium at that point, right? I already think we're at delirium right now, but even more so as we go higher. The perspective will shift because, again, it's a chain reaction of events. When you break out of that little range there, the thought is going to immediately come to people's mind that, oh my God, we're going to new all-time highs. Stellar Lumens is about to break out of this multi-cycle consolidation phase that it's been in since 2018. That's what kind of shift is coming our way with a 2-cent move, a 5-cent move. However, it's going to be bigger than that, right? This move here, it's probably going to take us all the way up to about 47, 50 cents, somewhere in that area there, right up to around this high. We'll probably consolidate and then move higher. But again, at that point in time, right now, right here, we're in this phase of, well, let's just wait and see. Maybe there'll be better opportunities to buy. Here, that's kind of gone away already, but there's still some of that, I'm sure. Whenever you get up here, that's going to be gone. Only delusionists are going to think that, right? At this point in time, FOMO setting in. It's how can I pack my bags as fat and tight as possible into this thing before it takes off without me, right? That's the thought that's going to be entering people's minds that want to buy Stellar Lumens. Maybe that's not everybody in the crypto space, but if you're interested in this project, if you're interested in what they have to offer and the prospects ahead, I mean, there's some pretty high potential here. If we're looking at this here, from the current all-time high to the low of this consolidation phase that you've been in for the last 2 cycles, from the current price to the minimum target that we would reach, that in itself is about a 6x move. I full-heartedly believe that we will see this price and beyond by the end of this year. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if we reach this price, achieve this price by the end of this month of October. We're in the 3rd day right now. Less than 30 days, about 4 weeks away from now. That will be, quite literally, I think, 4 weeks to the day. 4 weeks from now, we will be up 6x, okay? And I know that might sound crazy to some people, right? That might sound crazy because, Well, but that's going to be at a higher market cap than it's ever been. You don't expect it to make a move like that. Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do. Because we're going to be breaking out of a multi-cycle consolidation phase. What other kind of movement are you going to have with this kind of phase, right? Let's just look at this without any lines on it, except for the ones highlighting it. Okay, we break out of a consolidation phase like this. You're telling me we're going to move like this? Like that? That's what we're going to get right there. Just a little bit higher than the all-time, just like that. We consolidated for multiple cycles, and that's what we get. No, guys, come on. We're there. You go, right? $15, $20, inevitably, we're gonna get there, right? Early 2022, we'll be there, before the halfway point. That's for sure. Probably sometime in Q2 would be my guess. We're not stopping until we interact with this zone to some degree, right? 246 is the minimum target. By the end of the year, we might be at $4 or higher. I wouldn't be surprised at all if by the end of October, we were either at this level or somewhere near it, approaching it, maybe around $2, certainly at new all-time highs. When we break out of this range, again, you break out of this range here, you're breaking out of this range here, you're breaking out of this range here. It's a domino effect, man. And this move will be larger than anything we've seen in a long time. Now, will we have a month like we did back here in November where we moved up 469% in 1 month? Probably not. I doubt that we're going to do that all in 1 month. I don't know, actually. I mean, to be completely fair, shit. I mean, that's 560% right there. By the end of October, it could happen. But probably not, is my guess. Probably not. I would think that it's going to be a bigger move overall. But as far as 1 month goes, I doubt that we see a 469% growth. Therefore, we're probably going to be somewhere above $1, yet below 246 by the end of this month of October. Somewhere clearly at new all-time highs. But this is a party train that's not going to stop there, right? You might see a little bit of volatility going into November, but you're going to continue to grow and grow and grow until we get to new all-time highs or higher prices than this. I would expect, and I fully do expect, that Stellar Lumens will see a $22 to $33 price by the end of this cycle, which, by the way, from the current price, would give us something on the lines of about a 52x to an 82x, which I don't know if we see $33, but I could definitely see $22 happening. If we get to about $8.46, that is a 20x in itself, and $8.46, 47 cents, that is the golden ratio. That's also what the average altcoin would do. So I would say at a minimum, I would expect something here at $8.47. At a maximum, let's say $25, something that's just above. Both of these lines are colored purple because they don't interact as like direct areas that we find resistance. It's more of a zone in itself. So I would say something between $8.46 to maybe $25, $26. That's where we're going to be by the end of the cycle. If we look at XLM here on CoinMarketCap, $12 billion market cap, what would an 80x be? Not quite 1 trillion, but that'd be very close. So I doubt you see something at an 80x capability, which would then again that takes away this potential here. But you could definitely see something that's worth hundreds of billions of dollars by the end of the cycle for Stellar Lumens. Absolutely, you could. I don't think $22 or $30 even is out of the question, honestly. You start getting past $30, it gets a little bit crazy. But Stellar Lumens could see an $800 billion market cap this cycle, $500 billion. At its peak, in the peak mania of all this stuff, right? And then crash back down. It won't be up there for long, if it gets there at all. I'm not saying that it will get to $22 or $25. My bet is that we do break $20 by the end of the cycle for Stellar Lumens, but I would at least expect $8.46 to happen. That's my minimum expectation. Looking at the short-term stuff, looking at the daily time frame here, we look at these indicators, you can see that the RSI has been very neutral. We're showing stronger readings now than we've seen since July, which is nice, right? Breaking out of this for the first time really throughout this whole range, obviously. Getting overbought in the stochastics, and then the MACD here, where you did reject the zero, you're coming back up to cross. This is going to be a real cross here, you guys. You don't reject the zero and then come back up a week later for it. No, if you reject the zero, you come down, right? It's like if you're finding support or rejecting. Let's see if we can find an example of this. If you find support here, you move up, right? If you reject, you reject. You reject again. But this rejection was false, and then you moved up, right? It's kind of similar to what we're doing here right now on the daily time frame. If we look at the 4-hour time frame, very bullish RSI on the 4-hour time frame. Look at how bullish that is. That uptrend is magnificent. Higher lows, higher highs. We've even turned around here right above the 60. I think we're going to continue to grow from here. If you were asking me at the start of this 4-hour candle, I would have told you we have lower to go. We probably would have gone to about 38 cents, maybe 38.7 cents, something like that. But man, with the way this 4 hours closing, I think we're going to keep moving up higher right now immediately. Bitcoin's moving up. That's what it is. Wow, I didn't even realize that. Bitcoin, and the time that I've made this video, has actually been moving up a little bit here. Wow, nice. Good thing we are bullish. Good thing that was the call, right? Looking at the daily time frame, the trolls would be having a field day if not, man. I like it when they have a field day, though. I miss the trolls, man. Why is it that when things are good, they go away? It doesn't make any sense. Be here. Be here. I miss you. Weekly time frame, bouncing off the 50 on the weekly RSI, looking phenomenal. Looking great. Very constructive overall, right? Getting oversold, bouncing off the 40, bouncing off the 50 now. Getting overbought, not getting oversold at all. Predominantly living above the 50, not living below the 50. We love to see it, man. Very positive weekly RSI. Stochastics look great, bouncing off the 50. And the MACD, while you did cross red, you look like you're coming back up to shape up and cross green, and absolutely you're breaking out here. So again, the thought I offer and the thought I'll leave on Stellar Lumens here, we'll move on to HBAR, is the perspective is already starting to shift. Okay, it should already be shifting. But when we're above this high, when we're up like 2 more cents from here or more, the perspective is going to shift even more. It's going to be like, oh my God, we're breaking out of this, which means we're breaking out of this, which means we're breaking out of this, right? Very big things coming our way. I would expect, I know I said there was a moment there where I did say I don't expect us to see a move like this in 1 month. And maybe this month of October, we don't go all the way up to $2.45. But I do expect that we're going to get there in a very short amount of time. By the end of November, by the end of this year, undoubtedly we will. And I meant it when I said this next move here is going to be bigger than anything we've seen since we got into this range in the first place, since 2017. This next move will be bigger than anything we've seen all cycle, than anything we've seen in several years, multiple cycles, right? It's going to be a lot bigger than this overall. It'll be more akin to these movements here. We're going to see continued growth going into 2026, and I would think, and it's probably not going to be that big. Let's see. It'll probably be something like this would be my guess, going into April, May, something all the way up here, if not at least to $8. But even that there, right, that difference, this kind of a movement here that's way bigger than anything we've seen since the beginning of this consolidation phase. So massive movement over the next 6 to 9 months. I got nothing else. Let's move on to HBAR. Okay, hit the like button and subscribe if you were just here for the Stellar Lumens stuff. I really do appreciate you. HBAR, looking at HBAR here, also in its own kind of multi-cycle consolidation phase, huh? It's almost as if your whole existence is just a consolidation phase, and you're getting ready to break out. HBAR and Stellar Lumens, they're actually very similar charts, to be completely fair. I'll look at that wicking down a little bit. What's the liquidations look like? Let's see on the past day. You guys, it's crazy. Bitcoin's just ripping through the roof, and we still have $2.3 billion in shorts. What is going on? What are people doing? Where are your minds at? Why are you shorting this thing? What is the benefit to any of you? It doesn't make sense. That's crazy. I'm just curious real quick, actually, right? Because like on Hyperliquid, you can do a 40x. If you longed, just like in the heart of this zone here, and you just held on to that, 40 times 10, that's a 400x, bro, or 400%, sorry. Right? That would be 400%. That's a 5x. You 5x your money right now. Crazy. A little bit more than that even. Crazy stuff, man. Anyways, don't leverage trade, kids. It's bad for your health, okay? HBAR. I just like to tease my brain, though. Looking at the weekly time frame, I actually want to start off kind of the same way. Similar idea here with Stellar Lumens, right? Except you haven't done it yet, right? You're in this consolidation phase with lower lows, lower highs. You're in this kind of bull flag overall. The perspective here is, maybe HBAR, maybe not. What if it goes lower? I might wait and just, I didn't catch this pump here. I might wait for it to come back and buy. I'd rather wait and see than buy here and then it go down. We're not in a wait and see moment, right? Look at Bitcoin, look at Ethereum, look at Stellar Lumens, look at all these cryptos. The perspective is going to shift once we break out of this zone. Once we get up to about 25 cents, because not only there will you be breaking out of the zone, but you'll also be getting higher highs. So we're about a 3-cent difference away as well from seeing the perspective shift from HBAR. And then you're breaking out of this zone. which then implies that you are breaking out of this zone, which then implies that you're breaking out of your lifelong historical consolidation, whatever you're in right now, right? You're continuing the trend higher. And likely you will go higher. Absolutely, I would fully expect that you do go higher. Very, very solid structure here. Higher lows, higher highs throughout the cycle, okay? If we're looking at this, you would expect to come down and touch this area, but no, you didn't. You had a partial decline where you reached for that area, but you just couldn't do it. You were held up by support. Too much buying pressure, not enough selling pressure. You're finding support right at prior resistance here, right at prior support here, finding support there. Very phenomenal structure. Very, very phenomenal structure. We take the all-time high from last cycle in September of 2021 to the low. And again, look, September. HBAR topped off in September. The average altcoin topped off in either April, May, or November. Coins can top off at their own times. They don't have to top off with the rest of the market. Don't get caught up. To be fair, the bear market really started for HBAR in November, like the rest of the market, but I digress. Here you're finding support at the 50. Found some resistance at the 786, coming back down, finding support in the golden ratio zone. We love to see it. Phenomenal. Bullish. Very, very bullish. I would expect that your next movement does take you to about $1.20 to $2, somewhere in that range, probably just below $2 would be my guess. And similar to Stellar Lumens, I would think that you make a majority of this move. You certainly start reaching for those areas by the end of this month of October. Through this month, you'll be going there. And that's a very similar movement there. That's about a 5x to an 8x move. Stellar Lumens has a $12 billion, almost $13 billion market cap. HBAR has a $10 billion, almost a $9 billion, about a $9 billion market cap. That's a significant difference, right? You're going to see a little bit more growth with HBAR probably because of the market cap difference there, but decent volume nonetheless. Looking at this, I would expect that we're around $2, if not by the end of October, then by the end of this year, right? That's what's likely going to happen. And I think these targets are probably better suited for end of year rather than end of October. But you never know, right? Again, this movement, as bullish as it was, what's coming next, we're going to be at new all-time highs. We're going to be breaking out of your lifelong historical kind of consolidation phase. You could really truly see a more, and I would expect a more productive move here than what you had back in November, December, January of last year and then the beginning of this year here. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if by the end of October we were at $1.20. Certainly we'll be at new all-time highs, but something on the lines of like a 5x should be coming our way very, very soon and beyond that. If we're looking at this in the short term, looking at I actually want to look at the 1 hour and then we'll zoom out from there real quick, just because you haven't broken out yet. 1 hour looks great. Yeah, you bounced off the oversold zone. Nice, right? Living above the 50 predominantly. Stochastics are coming up. MACD looks like it wants to scoop to zero. All good things. Higher lows here, shaping up. Bullish on your 4 hour RSI here. Why can't I talk? Bullish on the 4 hour RSI. Perfect. You could go a little bit lower, and if you do, it's fine, right? But I think you would have. I think if you were going to, you would have done it already. I think we're ready to move up. I wouldn't be surprised by the time you're watching this video, whoever you are out there, if HBAR was up a few cents or at least above these highs here, right? At least above like 23.5 cents, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we're making moves by the end of the day going into the weekend. You have just crossed red on your 4 hour MACD, 26 minutes left. I don't care if you cross red. I still think you're going to move up. Everything else looks bullish in my opinion. Stochastics are about to cross up. This wick, it's like this, man, when did this happen? Yeah, 30 minutes ago. If we were making this video 30 minutes ago, I'd have no problem saying we were going to go down to $21.7 cents. And maybe you still do go down to 21.7 cents, but at this point in time, I think you found support. I think you're ready to move up higher. You look great. It's a massive reversal at the end of this 4 hour candle here, and you're probably going to reverse by the end of the day. It's clear as day that you're in this trend, right? You're going to go up. You're going to go up. And instead of finding resistance and coming back down, you're going to find resistance and break out, or you're just going to break out and not find resistance at all. You're going to break, once you get above this zone here, you're going straight up to 28 cents and beyond. And then you're breaking out of this overall phase, and you should be moving up to new all-time highs in a matter of no time at all. By the end of this month, absolutely, you'll be there. Daily RSI, overall kind of in a bearish trend, right? Lower lows, lower highs. We're looking to break out of that. You're above the 50, which is nice to see. If we close here or higher, you're probably going to bounce off the 50, and that'll set you up for greatness. If we're looking at the stochastics are shifted upwards, but because you're red today, the blue line looks like it wants to come down. Sometimes you dilly-dally, right? You've done that before, right in the same area, right before you ripped. So I'm not worried about it at all. Daily MACD just crossed green. I think that's a powerful signal in itself. And just in accordance to everything else that you're doing right here, I would very much expect that we do continue to grow. Looking at the weekly time frame, stochastics are great, RSI is great. Both of these are great areas to bounce. The MACD is crossed red, which I'm not a fan of on the weekly time frame, but overall you are in a bullish posturing, so there's that. And with the prospects of breaking out of this consolidation phase here, I'm not worried about this at all. I'm not worried about that. It's all context, right? And the context is key. It really does explain, to me at least, that we're going to move higher, right? Finding support at prior resistance, finding support at prior resistance, prior support back here. You're going to move up. Absolutely. You're about to break out. You're about to see that next phase higher. And really, if we're looking at this, it's almost like you've got this, other than this blemish here, it's like you've got this higher low, higher high parallel trend, right? Other than this little blemish right here, it's as if you've got a trend. Like if this didn't exist, if you're just doing something like this along the way, it's like a parallel trend. I would expect this next move breaks you out of the top side of this trend. Does that make sense? You're going to break out of this. You're not just going to follow this all the way up. You're going to break out of it here, and with that, you're going to need a robust movement. I think you're going to see something very akin to what we saw back in November of last year. It might not be as robust immediately, but over time, throughout the end of this year, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be a larger move overall, and I really do think that we're going to move up the prices that are, I mean, if not just below $2, you really could be above $2 by the end of this year. Ultimately, I expect HBAR to see prices that are all the way up, man. All the way up at about, was it $10? Is that it? Let me see. She had a $9 billion. Let's just call it a $10 billion market cap. Yeah. Because a 10x. Yeah. I think you could see. I don't think HBAR goes to $20 this cycle. I think it's possible, but you'd have to flip Stellar Lumens probably, and you would have to enter into like the top 5 and stay. Like I don't know if that happens. Not that you're not capable of being a top 5 coin, but that's a lot to ask for. You don't have as much lineage, but I do feel like you are going to break above your golden ratio. Something around $10. Something around $10. Maybe $10 itself. Maybe $9 itself. Maybe something in between. Or at the very bare minimum, I would think you do see a $6.62 price. So you're going to outperform the average altcoin by far, would be my guess. Something on the lines of a 40x by the end of the cycle. Largely outperforming the average altcoin, absolutely. That'd be my guess. Anyways, guys, I got nothing else for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let me know if you guys like these 2-for-1 videos or if you'd rather them be separate individual videos. I don't know. Trying it out. Take care. Bye-bye.